Here we are going to see what is EC2 instance and how to install Apache Web Server in EC2. AWS offers plenty of services offered on different domains like compute, storage, database, migration, networking and content delivery, developer tools, management tools, media services, analytics, machine learning, mobile services, and so on. Out of which EC2 falls under the compute capacity. So what is EC2? EC2 is a web service which aims to make life easier for developers by providing secure and resizable compute capacity in the cloud. With EC2, it is very easy to scale up or scale down based on the demand. It also can be integrated into several other services. The best part is pay only for what we use. What are the steps to create EC2 instance? First, choosing an AMI, Amazon Machine Image. That's really the software and application packages we would need to run our application. And the second, we would be choosing the hardware, and depending on the intents of the workload, we will be choosing the size of the hardware. Third, we would configure the instances. The first three steps is really about the OS volume and the basic hardware. Now it's time to add additional storage to the EC2 instance. That would be step 4. Here we add additional storage to the EC2 instance. And then tags. We use tags, or we would configure tags to easily identify an EC2 instance at a later point. We give it some meaningful names so we can identify, which team it belongs to which building department it belongs to, what's the purposes behind launch instance, stuff like that. In an environment where we run 700 to 800 or even more instances, identifying an instance and trying to understand, who owns the resource for what purpose we created. It would be in full-time work, so tagging comes to a rescue at that time. After tagging, Step 6 would be configure the firewall, which is also called security group for the EC2 instance, and this is where we would allow or any connection from an external world to the particular EC2 instance. Well, it works both ways, from outside and from inside. Out of this firewall blocks the connection based on port number and IP address. Finally, step 7, we review all the configurations that we have done and click submit. That's going to launch an EC2 instance. This is just an overview of how to create EC2 instance. Now let's talk about each and every step in a detail. So begin with choosing an EMI. An EMI, Amazon Machine Image, is a template that is used to create an instance or machine based on user requirement. The EMI would contain software information, operating information, volume information, access permissions. AMIs are of two types: predefined AMIs and custom AMIs. Predefined AMIs are created by Amazon and can be modified by the user. And the custom AMIs are created by the user. They can be reused. Next, choosing an instance type. An instance specifies the hardware specifications that are required in the machine from the previous step. These instances are divided into 5 families. First one, compute optimized instance. This is used for situations that requires a lot of processing power. And memory optimized instance. This is for setting up something to do with your memory cache. GPU optimized. This is for setting up a gaming system and something with a large graphical requirement. Storage optimized. This is when we use it to need set up a storage service, general purpose. When everything is equally balanced. Instances are of fixed and their configurations cannot be altered. Configure instance. We then have to configure the instance. You have to specify the number of instances, purchasing options, the kind of network subnet, when to assign a public ID, the AM role, shutdown behavior, and so on. There are also multiple payment options are available. Reserved instances. These instances are reserved for our 1 year or 3 years. And building, adding storage. 3 types of storage. Ephemeral storage, which is permanent, which is temporary and free. Amazon Elastic Block Storage, which is permanent and paid. And Amazon S3. Then we add tags. Then we need to configure security groups. And finally review and launch the instance. Here we are going to see how to install Apache Web Server in our machine. First, we have to create an AWS free account. If you have an already account, then sign in to the page. In the services, under compute, we have to select EC2. In the EC2 page, we have to select launch instance. Step 1. Choose an Amazon machine image. I select Ubuntu server. Next, choose an instance type. Select the free tier. Next, configure instance. Leave it as a default. Move on to add storage. Next, add tags. Next, configure security group. In the security group, we have to add root. We have to add HTTP port. Anywhere. Select review and launch. Select launch. Create a new keeper or choose an existing keeper. I have an existing keeper. Launch instances. View instance. Select view instance. Select the instance. And copy the IP address. Public IPv4 address this. We have to check it. The IP address. Yes, Apache Web Service install. Here we are going to modify the yes, it is a modified web page.